All right, today we're diving into a guidebook that looks at intuition a little differently. Instead of some mystical force, it treats it like a signal processing challenge. In a world that's just full of information overload, this gives you a practical operating system for navigating all those subtle cues around us. So let's get into it.
We're all really familiar with technical signals, right? The Wi-Fi connecting our devices, the data points in a spreadsheet, we get that. Well, this guide proposes that those subtle signals, things like gut feelings or intuition, can be approached with that same kind of analytical mindset. The whole goal is to learn how to receive them and, more importantly, interpret them with real clarity.
So here's the plan. We'll start with the basics. What are signals and what's noise? Then we'll get into the core framework of resonance and what the guide calls the four clears. After that, we'll cover the principles of discernment, which sets us up for the main tool, the signal discernment matrix. And finally, we'll look at how to pull all of this into a daily routine.
Okay, first up, understanding signals and noise. This section is all about taking concepts from information theory and translating them into a framework for personal insight. It's really about learning to tell the valuable information apart from all the distractions. At its core, a signal is just a pattern carrying information. Simple enough. But you see, the real challenge isn't just noticing these signals, it's being able to distinguish them from the overwhelming noise of everyday life. The distractions, the conflicting messages, and even our own internal chatter.
So, that brings us to section 2, resonance and the clears. This is really the foundational theory of the whole system. It explains the state you need to be in for clear perception to even happen.
Resonance is absolutely key here. Think of it like tuning an old-school radio. When your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are all aligned, you create the state of coherence. And that alignment is what lets you pick up on those subtle signals with way more accuracy, just like a perfectly tuned receiver locking onto a clear station.
This leads us to what the guide calls the four clears. Now, these aren't framed as some kind of supernatural powers. Instead, think of them as four distinct perceptual filters. By categorizing intuition this way, you get a powerful mental model for figuring out how you, personally, receive subtle information. Is it through a sudden knowing, an inner voice, maybe symbolic imagery, or just a gut feeling?
All right, with that framework in place, we can move on to section 3, the principles of signal discernment. This is where we really start to bridge the gap from theory to actual practical application. At the very heart of this system, there are 6 core principles. You can think of these as a sorting algorithm for basically any incoming signal or piece of information you come across. So here they are, the 6 principles. First, does it resonate with your core intent? Is the signal stable and coherent over time? Is it actually actionable? What's the energetic cost versus the potential return? Does it seem to be confirmed across more than one of the clears? And finally, does it maintain ethical symmetry? These principles form the logical backbone of the main tool we're about to see.
And that brings us to the centerpiece of the whole guidebook, here in section 4, the Signal Discernment Matrix, or SDM for short. This is designed to be a really practical, hands-on tool for signal triage.
So the big question is, how do you take those 6 principles and actually apply them in a way that's consistent, that's reliable, day in and day out?
Well, the Signal Discernment Matrix does just that. It turns those principles into a simple checklist. The source material has this great analogy for it. It calls it a cosmic customs checkpoint. For every signal that comes in, a gut feeling, a new idea, a weird coincidence, you run it through these 6 filters, ask the key question, and then give it a score.
And the scoring system is super direct and all about action. A high score tells you it's a high-value signal, something you should probably engage with. A medium score suggests you should observe it, but maybe not act just yet. And a low score? Well, that suggests it's likely just noise that you can let go of. It really turns a complex evaluation into a clear, simple decision.
But of course, a tool is only as good as the person who's using it. And that brings us to our final section, the Daily Resonance Protocol. This is all about how you integrate this entire system into your daily workflow.
This slide really shows the synergy between the 2 main parts of the system. The SDM, that's your filter for all the incoming signals. But the DRP, the Daily Resonance Protocol, that's the tuner. It's the daily practice that keeps your own baseline resonance clear and strong. And, naturally, a well-tuned receiver is going to make the filter that much more effective.
So the final piece of the puzzle is, how do you actually make this a part of your day-to-day life without it feeling like some big chore?
Well, the guidebook proposes a 4-step daily protocol.
It starts with a morning tuning to set your core intention for the day. Then, throughout the day, you use the SDM for active navigation as things come up. A quick midday reset helps you recalibrate, and then evening integration lets you review the day's signals and kind of fine-tune your process. It really is a complete operating system for your intuition.
So, to quickly summarize the key takeaways, the big idea is to frame intuition as signal processing. You can use the 4 clears as your personal perceptual filters. The signal discernment matrix is your tool for systematically triaging all those signals, and the daily resonance protocol is the ongoing practice that maintains your system's clarity and effectiveness.
And this quote from the source material really captures the essence of the entire system. It's all about a positive feedback loop. The daily practice of maintaining clear resonance improves your ability to filter signals. And, well, the better you get at filtering, the easier it becomes to maintain that clear resonance in the first place.
Thank you.